of the things that I noticed in my life where things were going wrong is that there were patterns. There were patterns that I could follow where every time this happened, this would happen. And I needed a strategy, I needed a plan so that I could interrupt those patterns, so that I could counteract the consequences of the things that I no longer wanted to replay in my life. Let me put it that way. So I created this thing called the A-list assignment. And why I created it was that I needed a strategy and a system, not just for what I needed to do, because I had spent years buying different planners and using different planning systems, trying to create different outcomes in my life. And what I was doing in my planner was I was writing down what life required me to be and where life required me to be, but not who life required me to be, and definitely not who my purpose required me to be. And what the A-list assignment did was it got me back in touch with the woman I am authentically, right? And I want to share these 5 elements of the A-list assignment with you. So the first one is appreciate your attributes. Now, what is an attribute? An attribute is a characteristic. So what are the things about you that make you you? What are the things about you that are unique, that don't apply to other people? And you may not think you're all that special because that's what you've been told. That's what life has made you feel. But trust and believe you are. There is nobody like you. And there are certain things about you that are unique. And even if they're gifts or skills or talents that other people have, nobody does it quite like you. So understand that and appreciate that. Now, the word appreciate actually has 2 meanings. It can mean to cherish and to acknowledge, right? And it can also mean to increase in value. This word is often used in financial terms. So if an asset, and that's what your gifts and talents and abilities are. They are assets. If those assets increase in value, they are said to appreciate. So not only are you acknowledging who you are, not only are you taking note and taking stock of the special things that make you you, but you are also investing in those areas. If there's a certain ability that you have, you invest in that area, in that ability, so that you can improve on those things that make you stand out. And this is an important thing to do. So appreciate your attributes. The next thing is to affirm your value. No matter what you have been told in life, no matter what someone has told you about yourself, that you would never amount to nothing, or even if nobody told you that and you've been telling yourself that you are a failure in this area, so it means that you're going to fail in every other area, stop doing that. Find a way to speak life into yourself. So appreciate your attributes, affirm your value. You're affirming your value not only to yourself, but to everyone else around you. The third thing has to do with your vision. And no matter who you are and where you are in life, if you do not have a vision for your life, you will become a part of somebody else's vision for you or somebody else's vision, but you will not appreciate fulfillment of your own. Without your own personal vision, you do not have a view of your own purpose. This is a non negotiable. You must have a personal vision, and you have to be able to do element number 3, which is articulate your dream. So appreciate your attributes, affirm your value, articulate your dream. What does that mean, articulate your dream? You have to be able to put your vision into words, express your desires. And this changes the way you show up. It changes the way you talk about yourself. It changes the way you talk to yourself. It changes the way you pray. It changes the way you ask for help and whether or not you even do ask for help. So I'm going over these things again. appreciate your attributes, affirm your value, articulate your dreams. The fourth one is act authentically. Who is the real you? What does she look like? What does she sound like? If you find that you have to be one way at home, one way at work, one way at church, one way on social media, and it feels like you're living multiple lives and you can never be truly yourself in a particular room, then that means that you are not in touch with who you are authentically. And you can act authentically in every area of your life. Understand that you are a multifaceted woman. So it doesn't mean that you're going to act exactly the way that you would act with a loved one when you're at work, because different environments are going to call for different aspects of you. But it's the real version of you that you are bringing forth. Because what happens when you morph to fit every room, you are never rooted. You're never truly rooted in who you are. And if you are not rooted in who you are going to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically exhausted at the end of each day because you have spent your time performing and not being. So when you learn how to act authentically, what happens is you now learn how to be. And from that being comes a sense of power and a sense of confidence that you can now take into every single area of your life. And the last one is the key to what we all want: access abundant life. And it starts with your faith. It honestly starts with believing that there is something that is designed for you, that there is a type of life that God intended for you to have, and that it is accessible, and it is accessible. There are obstacles for all of us, but that's part of becoming who you need to become in order to access the abundance. Because there's a level that you are at where you can't access it. You know why? Because you are full of the things that you need to get rid of. You're full of things that you need to offload, that you need to declutter from your mind, from your heart, from your spirit in order to welcome in. And for some women, it is so hard to even conceive of the vision because all they see is what they need to be, what they need to do, sorry, and where they need to be, and all these different things. But we lack the ability to sit still, to sit in the quiet and say, yes, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I'm working towards. And it doesn't mean that you pull away from everything and everyone. You may have to do that for a season, and that's okay. This is not isolation, this is incubation, where you are protecting the vision. It's just like when you have a newborn, you're not going to take that child everywhere. You're going to protect this child until the child is strong enough to be around other people. Your vision is the same way. The person that you are cultivating, this person that you are discovering for the first time, needs to be protected. There is a version of you that requires vulnerability. And for some of you, you have had to be so strong for so long that you don't know that there is power in your vulnerability. So, this assignment, this A-list assignment: appreciate your attributes, affirm your value, articulate your dreams, act authentically, and access abundant life. This is not something that you're going to do in public. This is something that you're going to do in private when no one is looking. The question is, are you willing to put in the private work to become who you need to be so that you can show up well publicly? And you're not showing up well for the sake of performance. You're showing up well for the sake of peace, for the sake of being a woman who is so completely and fully herself that when she's called on to do all the things for all the people, she's doing it as an overflow of who she has already become. And it's not struggling and it's not striving, but you can now operate from a place of excellence, from a place of efficiency, because you've done the work behind the scenes. There are things that you are trying to accomplish, and you're doing all the things. You're checking all the boxes, you're dotting the I's, and you're crossing the T's, but you're missing one element, and that is the woman within. And until and unless you invest in her, everything you do is going to feel like a performance. I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey. I'll talk to you soon.